creative friends, this is Joy. So this is part 4 of a multi-video, um, multiple videos in order to show you how I created this little golden book, Frida Kahlo journal. Boy, that's a mouthful. Anyway, so I've got the covers, I've got my signatures, and now I need to bind the signatures into the journal. So I have this template that I created, and basically I just, figured out the width of my spine, and then I divided that into 4 equal parts, and then I went an inch from the top, an inch from the bottom, and then in the middle to get the uh, 3 cross lines for where I'm going to poke my holes. And so here I'm got some paper clips that I'm going to clip this, and this, you know, is just a template I made just so I know where to poke my holes in the signature and or in the signatures and in the spine of my journal cover. And so I'm paper clipping this to the journal cover, and I'm trying to make sure I get it right exactly where I need it to be. I probably could have cut this piece of paper. Well, I needed the extra paper on either side though to clip it down, so that wouldn't have worked. Anyway, I've got marks on the top and the bottom of where the folds are, so I'm trying to make sure I get it lined up with those folds and making sure that I'm exactly where I need to be, because it's hard to tell when it's just laying flat whether you're in the right spot or not. So I'm double checking the fold lines, the little marks I have for where the folds are, because I do not want these to get off, because if they get off, then my signatures are going to get wonky. And nobody wants wonky signatures. And then I go through with my awl and I poke my holes where those lines cross. I got 4 signatures that I'm going to sew into this journal. And so I've got, 4 lines of holes. And then I turn it around to the back side, and then I poke through the opposite side of the cover just to, and make sure that the holes are wide enough, because when I go to sew the signatures on, I don't want to be having a hard time getting my needle through. So I just go back through each of the holes and just make sure that they're wide enough to get the needle through without me having to fight with it. So that's what I'm doing here. And again, this is part 4. The first part is me creating the cover. The second part is creating the signatures. The third part is adding in some embellishments, some decorations, some stamping, some edge trim, some pockets, some tucks, some belly bands, all those kinds of things. And so this is number 4, where I'm actually getting to the part where I'm going to sew in my signatures. So here's my signatures, and I need to now poke holes in those to line up with the holes that I just poked in the cover. So I want to make sure I get them, all the pages, like tightly together and even, and then I add the paper clips to either side of the signature, and I take 1 row of holes in my template, and I fold the paper on one of those rows of holes. It doesn't matter which one. I just need to pick one and use that to punch my holes in the signature. And I also make sure that the top is identified on my template so that it's always in the same position when I poke the holes in my cover as when I poke the holes in my signatures, because you don't want to get your template turned upside down, because then your holes aren't going to line up, or you're going to end up with, again, wonky signatures, and nobody wants wonky signatures in their journal. So here again is the second signature. I'm just trying to make sure they're tightly together, that they're even. Paper clipping it, adding my template, making sure that's straight top bottom, and then poking my holes. And what the you see on the underneath this that I'm using is just some foam packaging I got. I don't even know where it came from. I've had it for years, and it just works great for making sure that, you know, I have something underneath so that when I'm poking through, then, I mean, it wouldn't be a problem, you know. I don't think it would damage the glass mat, but um, before I actually had a silicone mat and I didn't put anything underneath when I would make these journals, and I would poke holes in them, and that silicone mat ended up with all kinds of holes in it. And so it wasn't like so water resistant anymore, or paint resistant, or whatever you want to call it. Basically, I ruined it. So I started using, you know, this piece of foam out of some packaging, which really helped save my silicone mats. Because I have two other tables in my art room that I work on. Well, two other 6 foot tables, but one other that I particularly will work on from time to time. Besides this area here, which is a corner desk, and so yeah, and there goes my clock. I was able to avoid it in previous videos, but here we are, which can occur in, you know, in my videos from time to time because it just chimes whenever it feels like it. And I don't feel like stopping the narration and starting and all that business, so ignore the clock. So now that I got all of my holes punched in my signatures, and I've got all of my holes punched in my cover, I have this wax thread, and I thought this color would be really pretty to go with this journal. And I measure out a length 2.5 times the length of the height of the cover. And once I measure out how much I need for each signature, then I measure out 3 more pieces of this for the so that I got 4 pieces to sew all of these signatures into the cover. So that's what I did there. I just measured out 3 more. I added it to my needle, and then here I'm going through to sew the signature in. I start at the very last signature and I start in the middle. So I go through the middle hole, I go through the top hole. You can go through the top or the bottom. I'm just doing a quick pamphlet stitch. This is the one I use most often. I really like it. It's quick, easy, and yeah, go through the bottom and then go back through the middle. And I leave a little bit of a tail when I go through the middle to begin with, so that I have something there to tie the knot with. So when I go back through the middle, I make sure that I'm on the opposite side of that string that runs down the middle from the top to the bottom, and then I tie the 2 sides together. So I've got one string on one side of that string that runs down the middle, and the other end on the other side. So I'll usually knot that, you know, at least 3 times, and then I can remove the paper clips. So that's the first one sewed into the book. So I get another piece of string, I restring my needle, I grab the next signature, and I repeat that. So I go through the middle, and then I go through the top, and then I go all the way to the bottom and go out the bottom, and I pull the string, so I just have a little tail left on the inside of the middle signature, or the middle hole. Go through the bottom, and then go back through the middle. And I'm trying to feel to make sure that I'm getting through all of the pages, because sometimes when you try to go back through, it wants to go in between the pages and it doesn't quite go all the way through the pages. Sometimes can be a hassle. And I make sure that I come up on the other side of the string from where the beginning is, and I make sure that I pull everything nice and tight before I knot it. So I'm like trying to tighten it. I feel like that top string is a little too loose. So I managed to try to pull it tighter. I think I, was able to get it tighter and then knot it a couple more times. And you can leave the strings, but I just decided to cut them. I was debating whether to leave them or to cut them, but I decided to cut them. And I left maybe an inch, you know. Yeah, and then remove the paper clips. So that's the second signature. So I just continue to do the same thing for the other two signatures. This journal has 4 signatures. Whenever I took apart the little golden book that I got, it had 2 signatures. So I decided that I wanted to use the pages from the book in the first and the third signature, and then add different pages in the second and the last signature for this journal. And so that's what I did. And again, this is part 4. And I'm still not done with this book because I still have a lot more that I want to do with this book. I need to make tags for this book, and I plan to add some different envelopes to this book and papers and like fill it up, with different ephemera and whatnot. So yeah, I'm still working on it, but I wanted to at least get these first couple of videos out to show like how I've created it, at least to this point. But yes, I plan on doing a lot more to it. Some things I'm still like debating, like I guess it depends on how much more I add to it and how much more I stuff this journal, to whether I need some kind of a closure. That's something I'm still thinking about. Do I need a closure? If so, how? What kind of a closure am I going to use? Am I going to just wrap ribbon around it for closure, or add something, I don't know, brads and then some string for closure? I don't know. I haven't thought ahead that far. For now, I'm just like, taking it as we go. And so yeah, I'm going to continue and working on this journal in the next week or two to continue to create it. So yeah, I hope that if you want to see what more I do with this journal, that you hit that subscribe button and you hit the notification bell to be notified whenever I post more videos. I mentioned it before in a previous video, but I was laid off in March of 2023, and I've been trying to find work ever since with no luck, and decided I'm just going to retire and focus more on my channel, my YouTube channel. I've had it for many years now, but have not really been able to focus on it as much as I wanted to, because busy working a full-time job, that takes up a lot of time. So now I have more time to be able to do that. So yeah, that's I have so many things, projects. I mean, I have lists and lists of projects that I want to do, and so many things I want to do. I have more little golden books I want to do. The next one I want to do is an Alice in Wonderland golden book. I think that'll be fun. And I also have already some different ephemera and stuff that I can use in creating that one. So I'm really looking forward to that. And here I'm just adding a little dab of glue to the knots. I like to do this because I don't know, I just really like to feel secure that those knots are not going to come undone. So that's what I'm doing here. It's just adding a little dab of glue to each of those knots just to make sure that they're going to stay knotted. So yeah, I mean, I hope that you subscribe. I hope that, like I said, you hit the notification bell to see future videos. I hope that you hit the like button, please. If you like this video, hit the like button. Um, and leave a comment or any questions. Anything that, um, anything is helpful. Like I said, I've had the channel a long time, haven't really been able to focus on it like I can now, so I'm really looking forward to lots more to come. Here I'm just showing you a quick flip through of what I've got so far. Again, I've still got quite a bit more to do to this journal, to add to this journal. And so, yeah, this is where I'm at this far. Really like it so far. It's really turning out really pretty. This is the third signature with some of the pages from the book. So I have those in the first and the third. And then here's towards the end, the last page. So I thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye-bye.